Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. So yeah, we're going to be working on this game. I don't know, I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but I've got some ideas. Anyway, before we get into that, Gunforged is available for sale. It's my 2D roguelike, roguelite is what I called it, shooter where you create broken builds every run. And yeah, if this is the kind of game that you're interested in, it's also a great way to support me. So check it out. The link is in the description below. You can also try the demo if you're interested. But right now it's 30% off, and it'll be 30% off for what? Oh, a couple more hours it looks like. So yeah, grab that if you're interested, and very much appreciate that. Otherwise, I have my Udemy courses available for sale. Those will teach you how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. So what are we going to do today? That's a good question. So I've just been working on the game loop for this grid-based card, collectible card, auto battler, roguelike. We'll see if we can throw more Souls-like buzzwords in there. So I made a couple of changes. So last stream, I think on Saturday it was, I made a change where the player can select a combat encounter. And I actually changed the art here over the weekend. So on, I guess yesterday, I redid the art. So I'm using the stained glass window sort of theme again for this in the same way that I'm using for the events, which I'll show later. And you can hover over these and these will tell you, you know, these are the different difficulties, and then it will tell you what the actual enemies you're going to face are, or the cards you'll face. So if I select this one, I get Corvid and Incense, and I can set up my board here. I'm just going to God mode my way through that. And it's hard to see, there's no animation, but I get a reward, a blood reward here, which is the currency that you can use. I'll choose my booster packs here and grab that. And then here's the events. So it's the same kind of style, except they're just different frames. So because I don't really have colors, I don't have a lot of colors to work with, I can't use colors to differentiate them. So I used a different shape instead. So the circular windows are combat encounters, and then these, I don't know what you would call these arched windows are events. So another change that I made too is I actually made it so you go through 2 rounds of events before you go to the next combat. So when I was playtesting, it was really hard to like grow in power in any meaningful way in between each combat encounter, which kind of felt weird. It kind of felt weird to get one upgrade and then fight, and then one upgrade and then fight. So what I did is I added a second round of events, so I can increase my board size here. And then these are 3 new events. Again, there's no animations here, so it's hard to tell, but these are new events now, so I can click another one, and I could take a max health increase. So now, since the first combat, I've now increased my health and increased my board size, and that just gets the game going a lot quicker, in my opinion. So, and then I can choose another combat encounter, and that's basically the loop here. So there's still a lot of things to figure out. Obviously, I got to play with the scaling and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But what I want to do is I want to fill out one remaining event, which is enchantment. I want to build an enchantment system just so I can actually use that event. And I also want to add the ability to select cards as an event type. So you typically get your booster packs or whatever after you beat an enemy, but I also want to introduce an event wherein you can choose from a booster pack again. So if you want to just keep collecting more cards, you can do that. And then eventually we're going to want a shop as well. That's going to be a big event. More ways to spend currency, I think, is going to be really good. So anyway, did I actually add that? Yeah, add booster event. So let's do that first. But first, hello Craig, welcome back, and hello Aniki, welcome back to you. Good to see you both, as always. Okay. What else did I do yesterday? I just did a bunch of refactoring. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I've got these event state machines. These are like sub events that can be spawned in by the run manager so that I can add any event specific state to these things and keep it nice and clean. So anyway, I don't know if that's interesting at all. But I created like a booster event state machine. So this is the booster selection logic in here. And I can just store all of these members here instead of cluttering up the run manager. So the run manager is looking a lot cleaner now. The run manager is just handling the overarching game state and then instantiating those state machines based on whatever event we're in. So, what else? Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. So now let's get into it. So one thing I want to do first is this, where was I looking? This is going to be kind of confusing, but I think it's going to work. Enter state, choose event. Do I want to do that? I don't think so. All right, so enter state, choose event. We'll just keep that. I was going to make this its own event state machine as well, but maybe we'll just keep this one here. I think that'll be fine. Okay, so I want to add booster as an event. So I think that's as simple as, oh, you know what? Pick events, event type. Okay, yeah, so I'm just adding the events in here. So shop. So actually, this might be as easy as, since I've already refactored this, I think this might be a one-line change. I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult, but we've got a booster here. So I can just add that to the loot table, and just to test it, I'll just go ahead and add a huge number there, which makes it basically guaranteed to be chosen. And let's see, so let's just God mode our way through it with the God mode button. Begin, boom. So let's just choose one of these here. Take a core vid. Oh, I want to also, did I write this down? Prevent same card from being chosen 2 times, more than once. Did I not? Yeah, in booster. So we're going to want to do that as well. Anyway, let's take the core vid. So we got booster, boom, and then we get another booster pack selection here. So I can take another core vid, for instance, put that on the board, and then choose booster again if I want. Put that there, and now we're in combat. Perfect. Okay, well that was a one-line change. That's nice. Am I gonna die? No, I'm not. Sweet. Okay, well, that was easy. I guess the stream's over. I'm just kidding. We got a lot more to do. Hello, Camilla. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Add booster as option. Easy, done. All right, so let's do an enchantment system now. This is the big event that I still don't have in place. So let's see, how do we want to do this? I think it would be helpful to come up with a couple of enchantment types that I can implement and then use that to determine how the system will work. So do I have enchantment ideas? Yeah. Card executes twice, reduce turn cooldown by 1, adds 1 poison damage to all poison items. Okay. Poison cards on board. So I already have 3 enchantments written down, so maybe we'll just enter these. I wonder, I don't know, what I'm thinking of doing is when you select the enchantment option, there could just be 3 options, and then it will just pick from a loot table of enchantments you want to add, and then you can choose one and then click. So I'm imagining you'll click on the enchantment you want, then you'll click on the card that you want to apply it to. So this is going to have to live at the card level for sure. So let's try with the card executes twice. So we're going to want... So the kind of tricky thing is I have an echo ability. I have an echo ability. How does this actually work? I forgot. Conditional ability operator should execute. So this just adds card to rerun execution list. So that should be simple enough. All right, so I'm gonna want, let's see, data ability. Let's do new folder, enchantment. Let's create a new file, base enchant. I'm gonna call this enchant instead of enchantment. New file, base enchant. Abstract class base enchant. Okay. So let's just get this built out here. Private read-only list enchants. So we're going to store a list of that. Execute abilities. On card executed. Oh, is this is not right. On card executed, card execution listener. Shouldn't this be an ability execution listener? Hold on a second. Yeah, this needs to be renamed. On ability executed. Am I going to need to rename this? Ability execution listener. And then in here, I need to rename this in here. For the UID stuff. Okay, I think that's fine. Let me just build this real quick. Hello, Mike and Dev. Welcome back. Good to see you. Again. You're early for once, yeah. Okay. So I think for this base enchant, so let's do this. Public virtual void post abilities executed, something like that. Must declare a body. Execution context with state. So what I'm thinking for this one is I can just do for each var enchant in enchants. Am I going to want I'm going to want this enhanced context. Execution state. I might as well use this too, I guess. Okay, so for each var enchant in enchants, we're going to call post abilities executed. So this happens at the end of the execute abilities loop. I think for the case of this, let's create a new file called echo enchant.cs. Execution context, add card to rerun. Yeah. That's basically all I need to do there. Okay, let's just test it real quick. We're gonna go to this, what am I doing? Skeleton Warrior base card. Let's do, I need to do an add enchants. Yeah, add enchant. So let's put this up here. Okay, I'm just going to see if that works from a very basic standpoint here. So this is not going to have any sort of data, like I'm not going to be able to read that enchant here yet, but I should see it execute twice. Perfect. Oh, it's still going. Oh, it's still going. Okay, so the problem is that it's just being executed every execution. So it's just repeating. Okay, so how do I change that? Reset all transient states. Post cooldown tick. Reset all transient states. Reset all card states. So I need to be able to determine if it's already been executed on this turn and clear that before the next turn. So I probably want to do here's what I'm going to do. I'll create a single point of entry here. Public void reset turn states or something like that. We're going to turn this to private. And we'll move this down. Okay, so reset all transient states. And then we're going to want to reset the enchantment states as well. So that means that public bool has executed this turn. We're going to make this a protected set here. Do I want to do that? I don't really like doing this because then I'll have to set this flag every time I override this. The other thing I could do is we do want that. What I'll do is I'll do public void. I kind of like doing this kind of thing. Protected virtual void internal post abilities executed. Because then what I can do is I can do this. I can call internal post abilities executed with the execution context. Then I can set the flag here. So this can become private now. And then what I override instead is that internal. And this can be protected now. Yeah, so it's already protected, so we'll do protected. So now I just override that internal, and then the publicly visible method here will manage any state in there for me. So now I can just override this in every enchant implementation without having to worry about managing this state here. And so then what I can do in my base card here, actually this is fine, so this is all good still. Now I do want to do .where x not x has executed this turn. So just filter out anything that's already been executed in case there's an echo or whatever. Now that might get a little bit tricky, but we're gonna let the game sort of inform what's gonna happen here. But anyway, so that reset turn states is gonna reset the transient states, and then also reset all the turn states on the enchantments there. Okay, so hopefully that works. Hey! The cats are fighting. Have you upgraded to Godot 4.4 yet? Yes, I'm on 4.4.1. Yes. I heard Kitty. Yeah. They're fighting, which is like so annoying. Can I stream in peace? The heater is on, so they huddle around the vent, but then they fight over the warmest spot near the vent. And it's just kind of annoying. Anyway, they're cute. So let's see. So I'll put this here. Let's see if this echoes. It should attack twice and then stop. There we go. And then it should attack twice again. Perfect. Okay. So that enchantment is basically done. So let's try reducing the turn cooldown by 1. Let's try doing that. And then I'll figure out how to display this in the UI. Honestly, the trickiest one here is going to be this one that provides a buff. Where is it? Adds 1 poison damage to all poison cards on the board. So that's going to be relatively tricky, I think. That's going to be the hardest one to implement, but I think that this is going to be a good sort of case to get the system built out to support that kind of thing. Because this is going to need to be able to query the board. It's going to need to be able to modify other cards in some way. And so, yeah, it's going to be kind of tricky, but let's do the reduced turn cooldown by 1 here. I'll commit this first. Basic enchant system in place. Add 1 more camera that just shows the cats, free views and money. Yeah, I could do that. The problem is that would be useless when it gets into the summer months because then the air conditioner will be on and they will not sit there. So I'd have to move the camera around. Do they keep you up at night? I know cats can be pretty nocturnal. No, my cats are pretty good at night. Yeah, they're fine. Most of it is just you have to condition them that you're not gonna pay attention to them at night, and they eventually stop. At least in my experience. Okay, so what am I doing? Reducing the turn cooldown. So this one's gonna be a little bit tricky. This one's going to be tricky too. So card stats. So this uses the base card's card definition resource to turn cooldown. What might be appropriate here though is to... Let's go to the base card here. Since the enchantments live on the base card, what I want to do is I want to add a method... Probably just like a public int in here. Return card definition resource. Turn cooldown. So wherever this is used, this now needs to become get turn cooldown. Turn count, this get turn cooldown. So this is going to be processed every time. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. So this get turn cooldown, now the idea is here we'll just calculate the turn cooldown in here based on the enchants and whatnot. Now the thing is, what I could do is I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. One option is to add some kind of turn cooldown calculation method to the base enchant and just iterate through all of those. The other way to do it is to what is the way I want to do this? There's a bunch of ways to do it. I'm just trying to think of like what's the most appropriate way of doing this. Well, let's ask the AI. One of the things that's nice about AI is you can have a number of implementation ideas in your head about how you want to do something, and you can use the AI as a sort of like sanity check where you say, okay, here's the problem, and don't like tell it what solution you're thinking of, just come up with a solution in your head and then see what the AI says. And oftentimes what you'll find is that the AI recommends the solution that you already had in mind. So it's a nice way of being able to like make decisions when you're kind of like, you know, trying to figure out is one way better than another. So let's see what it does. What I'm thinking here, I'll do it as an example. So what I'm thinking is probably the most appropriate way would be to put a method in the base enchant here that can be overridden that will modify the turn number calculation and pass that turn cooldown in as an argument, and then basically iterate over all of those continually, like passing in the new number. So if you have multiple enchants that affect the turn cooldown, you just kind of like pass that number through that whole chain, and then whatever number gets output on the end of it is the turn cooldown of the card. So you could have an enchant, for instance, that like, you know, reduces the turn cooldown by 1, but then another one that like doubles the turn cooldown, but you know, provides some other kind of benefit. So we'll see. We will see. There is a get turn cooldown method. I want to be able to implement a class extending base enchant that can modify this turn cooldown value if it exists. I also need to leave open the possibility of multiple enchants affecting the turn cooldown. What is the best way to accomplish this? Are you using Claude 3.7 reasoning? Not reasoning, just the 3.7 Sonnet. Or unless Sonnet, no, the thinking model is different. Okay, so it recommended a slightly different thing. So yeah, I mean, this is one way to do it where you just check the exact type, but I don't necessarily want to do that. Why not add get modified turn cooldown as a virtual method on base enchant? Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's basically the solution that I was going to go for. Okay, might as well. I guess my only hesitation with that is that in the vast majority of cases, that is not going to be overridden, but I guess that's kind of the case with anything, really, so... Okay, let's just do that then. Enchant and enchants, modify enchant cooldown, return cooldown greater than 0, cooldown or 1. Okay, that's fine. Every enchant can potentially modify a cooldown. Okay. Well, now let's go ahead and create, let's create that enchant here. Public override int modify turn cooldown, return cooldown -1. And if I have multiple things that change the turn cooldown, I'll probably have to implement some kind of ordering for the enchantments too. Because like I said, if you double the cooldown first and then subtract 1, that's going to be different than if you subtract 1 first and then double it. So I may need to figure that out. So it's not arbitrary based on like what order you put the enchantments in. It should just work the same every time regardless of when you apply the enchant, but I think that's okay. So I'm just going to put that on the skeleton again. Oh, did I? Yeah, let's just do this. Add enchant, new turn cooldown enchant. Okay, so this has 2 turns now, which is perfect. So now I've got a skeleton that executes after 2 turns and executes twice. So that's super powerful. And then this in combination with the enchantment or the alchemy system, I think it's going to be pretty powerful. So let's see if I can do an... oh, wait. The alchemy needs to be updated to carry over enchants as well. Alchemy... Let's put this in the to-do. Alchemy system needs to count for enchants. Okay. Cool. All right, so those are all working. So that's great. Obviously, there's a lot more work to do here. I am going to try to do the poison one, though, and that's going to be very, very tricky. So, but this is good for now. It's kind of unfortunate. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Whatever. So we got the bones of an enchantment system in here. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask the AI about how to do this next one. Because it takes too long or something else. No, I think the reasoning model is just... I think it's just largely unnecessary for what I'm doing here. That said, I haven't really tried it, but... So I could turn on thinking here. Maybe I'll try that at some point. We'll see how this goes. Skeleton OP, yeah, indeed. I mean, that's the thing. I want the player to be able to create OP cards, because that's going to be really, really fun. Actually, I'm going to encourage the player to be encouraging OP cards, because I'm going to be balancing the game, hopefully, such that if you're just using vanilla unupgraded cards, you're going to have a bad time. So I want to encourage the player to collect a bunch of cards, alchemize them, add enchants and everything to like really like, because I think that's going to add a lot of replay value too, where you've got all these different base cards with their base definitions, and then every run you're putting new enchantments, you're alchemizing different things, you're doing different builds, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think there's a lot of potential, but I just gotta get it working. Okay, I want to add a type of base enchant that increases all poison applied by cards that apply by a arbitrary number, in this case 1. Analyze, enchant, base card, and at ability in the code base, and suggest the most elegant and maintainable way of doing this. I don't know if the AI is going to understand this, but let's see. What? I haven't used all my queries. This amount cannot be empty. What do you mean? All right, let's do auto, I guess. Guess I can't use that. Is it like a pro? I can't use that one anymore. I didn't use all my premium queries. What gives? Maybe it's when I cross a certain threshold. Oh, I have to log. I'm not logged in either. Okay, well, we'll figure that out later, I suppose. Wait, no. Stop. I meant to be in ask mode. Wait, maybe is that why I can't use? Can I use 3.7 Sonnet now? Okay. Guess agent mode is just different. I don't know. This is not even close to correct. Passively add 1 poison damage to all cards on the same board, regardless of when it's executed. Modify ability before execution. Is that even gonna work? So what it wants me to do is iterate through all the enchantments, find one that has the ability pre-execution modifier interface, and then set that up. So that seems like it would work. The problem is how is that description working? Oh, I could modify this. So I guess that makes sense. The problem is that going to reflect in the description? Do I want it to be reflected in the description? Do I want that to happen? Or do I want to just add 1 at the time of execution? And is that even going to work? I don't even know if that's going to work. What is a complicated poison ability? I have like phylactery here. So this is poison applied growth. Poison tracker, dynamic poison ability. Is the dynamic poison ability, it's an eye composite ability, which has poison under it. Dynamic magnitude ability. It's setting the magnitude here, which is going to override it. So if I use a set magnitude, that's not going to work. So there's a different way of solving this, which is that I can, at the moment of poison being applied in the status receiver, or the status component, I could just increment it by 1 here. That would certainly be simpler. That would certainly be simpler instead of trying to reach into all the cards and somehow modify their poison values. Dynamic value provider, value scaler, poison tracker. Yeah, if it's going to be... So there's a bunch of different ways in which poison's being used. Sometimes it's a straight application of poison. Sometimes it's like the phylactery where it's doing a scaled value based on the number of poison applied. And to work with all of those cases, like this dynamic poison ability essentially, so I think the AI is right here. In some respect, I would basically have to somehow calculate this dynamic poison ability's value first, and then add 1 to it before it goes. And I would have to make that work in every case where poison's applied. So that seems like it's going to be kind of messy. So I think maybe a cleaner way of doing this would be to there's another option here, which is that I can pass any enchantment data, any relevant enchantment data into the execution context here. And then at the level of poison being executed, I can modify this magnitude. So I might actually do that. So pass in the execution context, because the thing about these abilities is that they don't know anything about, these are just like pure data and logic. No, they're just pure logic basically. And so in order to work properly, they need the context about the game coming in. And this context contains things like which card is executing, which board does the card belong to, which board are we targeting, and then some other helper things in here. In this state here, ability execution state. So I think what I do is just modify this poison ability here, because this is the very base, this is like the ability that ultimately gets applied regardless of what other wrappings are around it, like whatever scaling's happening or whatever. This ultimately is what's being applied anytime poison is applied. And so I could just put something in here that calculates the magnitude. Now, the one thing that I wanted to know before I do that is there a way that I can modify the descriptions so simple poison here, poison ability get magnitude, yeah, so get description here. I don't think I'm going to be able to modify the descriptions of all the cards on the board. I don't even know if I want to do that either. I mean, it would be nice to be able to show in the inspector somehow that an enchantment is affecting the card. but that might be a little bit unrealistic. Because I don't even have like an execution context in here at all. So it wouldn't be possible. Okay, let's see. Execution context with state. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll do kind of what I was thinking I'd do. So I'm going to do this. Public base card. Should I rename this to, let's just do card, I guess. Execution context with state, card stats. Oh, I don't need to do any of that. Okay. Okay. So now in here, what I can do is let's go to my base card here. So I think in my base enchant, what I'll do is do I have like a status? Base status. So in here, what I can do is public virtual void modify status. And then in here, what I'll do is public void modify status var enchant in enchants. We'll call modify status in all those. Then in poison here, what I can say is poison status is equal to new poison status. Execution context.card.modify status, and then we'll pass in the poison status there. So I'll just need to do this for every ability that applies a poison or that applies a base status. But that's a way that I can do that. And then now I can do the poison enchant thing. Poison enchant. Just gonna copy this. Actually, let's copy this one. Poison enchant. Modify status. So just apply another stack. Okay, is that gonna work? I don't know. Let's go to the Viper, I guess. And I can obviously pass in a amount here, but let's see. Thoughts on making the enchant's job to manage all this versus enchant's trying to modify everything else? I don't think that's gonna work. And the reason is because the enchant's making the enchant's job to manage all this. I mean, that's what the enchantments are, like the enchantment, the logic, the modification logic is happening here. But the problem is the enchantment doesn't have any data. It doesn't know where the status is coming from. For like echo, it doesn't know, it doesn't have any turn executor component knowledge. It needs this execution context. And also these enchants don't know when to run. They need to be told when to run. And so that's what the base card is doing. The base card is kind of like just the driver that drives everything. So it stores all the abilities, it stores all the enchants, and then it coordinates when each of those things is run. But, you know, the problem is that if I want to modify the poison that's applied, that's happening inside of the poison ability. And so it needs to be able to have itself be modified. And that's still happening through the card, which is then iterating over the enchants here to modify it. So I guess I don't know how the enchantments would manage all of this, because the card is the orchestrator. The card is the one gathering up all the context and orchestrating the order of operations and everything. I don't know if I can shift any of that responsibility to the enchants itself in a sensible way. Now what I could do is I could say, like in the base card here, if I detect that a poison ability is being executed here, I can do that. So maybe that's... Yeah, see the problem though is that I could in here, I could detect if a poison ability is being done and then modify it in this card to execute abilities. But the problem is I still need a reference to the poison status, which is a separate object that's being created inside of the execute method. So I think this is about as clean as it can be. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Cody. Yeah, I think I know the concern, but there are just some places where, like with the status creation, I think I just have to basically tell the card, hey, modify the status if appropriate. Ideally, yeah, I'd just be able to do this, like apply status, poison status. Like so, which I could probably still do. Instead of doing the target board status component apply status, I could do maybe like a card method here. Apply status to board or something, and then that can handle it, but then I still need to remember to call this, and that might be a cleaner way of doing it eventually, actually. But I think for now this is okay. The methodology of breaking everything down and dealing with the complexity of code is where I would really struggle here. So many variables. Yeah, there are a lot of variables. And you want to make sure not to paint yourself into a corner, so to speak. Well, let's see. I need a Viper. I need a Viper. Oh, this is going to be annoying. Okay, let's not do it here. Let's do this in the ceremonial dagger. Hello, Sanzo. I'm your new biggest fan. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So I'll do the poison ceremonial dagger here, and then in run manager. We'll add that ceremonial dagger. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Apply one poison, so it's still only applying, but let's see here if this applies 2. There we go, 2, boom. So I'm gonna want probably some, ooh, I can drag this. That's not good. Why can I drag this? Okay, I need to disable dragging right there. Ooh, okay. Anyway, okay, I'll write that down before I forget. Let me do something really quick. New line trigger, enter. Yeah. I like to be able to press enter when I'm writing cards so I can do new lines and then shift enter to save it. Okay. Anyway, can drag card in inspector. Okay, so let's see. So that's working. So we're going to want an enchant section in here as well. Let's see if I can get... Can I get a Viper? No. Increase board size. Max health increase, 5. Corvid. I'm just going to see if I can get another poison thing just to make sure that it's working. I'm pretty sure it will be working, but... Ow. That Corvid was hitting me hort. There's a Viper. Okay. Increase board size. There we go. Okay, so now we can do these both. Double the poison applied if an adjacent card applies poison. Applies to poison, okay. Increase board size again. Let's see what happens. So this Viper should be applying 3 poison when it goes. So that's... I can't tell, there's too much going on. I think it's working. So that should apply 3, 1. That applied 2 poison. I can't tell. Hold on. Oh, they're executing at the same time, that's why. Why did it seem like it applied 4, though? Applied 2 poison. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. I'm going to get this eventually. Actually, maybe this one will be... No. Maybe this will be an easier combination to test. Max health increase. Three, 2, 1. I think that was right. Okay, I have no clue what's going on. I think it's working. I think it's working. Maybe it'd be better to add... Well, I think it's fine. One thing I could do is just temporarily change the ceremonial dagger. No, I don't... No, it's fine. I'm fairly certain that's working. Okay. That was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Gosh, it's so nice being a genius programmer because everything just goes my way, you know? I'm kidding, of course. In case you all thought I was just too in love with myself. Any reason to code in C# instead of continuing with GDScript? Yeah, so I think the main reason is to do the things that I'm kind of doing here, where you've got abstract classes with virtual methods that you can override. I'm using a lot of interfaces as well, which is nice for the sort of ability system that I have. Those things are not available to you in GDScript without some like weird frameworks and workarounds. So the fact that you can properly override methods, declare abstract classes, use interfaces, and then other things too, like using link to query collections of data or filter collections of data. The built-in data structures like hash sets and dictionaries, lists, arrays, all that stuff. I mean, obviously GDScript has analogs, but there's just more sophisticated tooling available with C#. And also you can use NuGet packages. So for instance, I'm using Newtonsoft JSON for my JSON serialization and deserialization. So I'm not even using Godot's built-in way of doing JSON writing because I don't need to, right? I can just use the Newtonsoft JSON package, which is very mature. It's used in, you know, millions of projects. And, you know, so all those things are nice. So that's it. Yeah, but GDScript is perfectly capable. Like, you can build this game with GDScript. I just think that for me personally, it's just easier to keep track of how all the data is flowing through the system when I've got like this static typing and interfaces and all that stuff. So output every action to a log file. Yeah, I probably should do that. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to work. I mean, this poison status is only ever applied in this poison here. Like, that's the only place where it's being applied. So the only place it can be modified is here on this line. And I think that's working fine. So, ooh, you know what though? There is one issue here. Oh, maybe it's not working. Oh, I spoke too soon. Dang it. Dang it, dang it. After I called myself a genius programmer, look where we're at. Get smacked down with a dose of reality that I completely did this wrong. Let me commit what I have first, because I think it's largely okay. I think it's largely okay, so shoot. I'll tell you why this is wrong in just a minute. Okay, so implement basic poison enchant. Dang it. Oh no. Oh no. What is going on? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, the basically what I wanted this enchant to do is modify every poison that's applied, but right now it's not going to do that. Because it's only looking at the card that executed this poison and looking for enchants there. Which is fine, but I did want this to apply to everything on the board anytime poison is applied. So I actually need to make it irrespective of whatever card's being executed. Shoot. I spoke too soon. That's how the world works. I don't think you didn't even Google anything. Well, that's just experience, but I still do things wrong. Obviously, this whole thing is wrong, but you're welcome, Sanzo. You're welcome. What was the JSON thing called? Newtonsoft.json. If you just look up like NuGet JSON packages, I'm sure it'll be like the first result. Self-inflicted, yeah. Welcome back, Adam, by the way. Good to see you. Probably a good use case for some integration tests. That would be a hassle as complexity expands to maintain those. Yeah. I mean, this is a very good candidate. This kind of game is a very good candidate for doing integration tests or unit tests, because a lot of this game is just making sure that all the data and logic is working, like the data is flowing to all the places that it needs to go to, and that the logic is modifying that data in the appropriate way. And given the complexity of the ability system too, making sure that things execute in the right order and target the right cards and create the right numerical values. This is actually a very good use case for tests, but I don't know. I think it's fine. Games are more fun when they have a little bit of bugs, you know? I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is a pain to maintain those, especially with something like a game where you're not necessarily dealing with a spec from the beginning, and so you don't really know what the final form of the game is going to be. I tend to find that tests in that case kind of tend to drag you down, or you spend a whole bunch of time writing the tests and then your entire game changes and then you just never write the tests again, and so they just get outdated. But that's just me. No, yes, exactly. Good morning, Christopher. SM64 is jank AF, but it's got charm. What is that? Super Mario? Is that what you're talking about? The more bugs, the better, Bethesda fans and Ubisoft lovers. Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's what I used to tell my customers when I was in not my customers, my company's customers when I was working as a software engineer. It's like, oh, the feature that you're paying for doesn't work. Yeah, that's just that's just part of it. Suck it up. People are going to speed run the game, yeah. Super Mario 64. Have you been playing that, Christopher? I have to say I'm not the Mario games have never been appealing to me. I do like Mario Kart. That's a fun one. Okay, so let me take a quick 2-minute break. I need to get a refill on my drink and all that good stuff. So let me do that real quick, and then yeah, we'll come back and we'll figure out how to make this work. We might have to actually go back to what the AI wanted me to do, which is somehow pre-process. Or wait a minute. Yeah, I'll think about it when I get back. So let me take a quick 2-minute break and then we'll get back into this. We'll figure out how to make this work. I'll re-explain the problem again and then we'll see what we're doing. We'll see what we're doing. I know I gotta get up. Hold on. My train of thought here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Okay, anyway. I'll be right back in 2 minutes. Again, please check out the links in the description below. I've got Gunforged available for sale. That's a great way to support me financially, and it's a fun game, I think, so you'll probably enjoy it. Also, consider leaving a review if you do play it. I've also got my Udemy courses available for sale. Again, all of those things are linked in the description below. I appreciate any and all support, and even if you just want to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like that, those non-financial ways of supporting me are very much appreciated as well. So give me just 2 minutes, I'll be right back, and then we will get right back into this issue here. All right, I'm back. Sorry for the little bit of an extended break. Probably a little bit more than 2 minutes, but that's all right. The feature you're paying for doesn't work? Suck it up. AAA gaming experience. Yeah, there are some good AAA games, but I mostly just stick to the, I don't know. I like, what have I been playing recently? I've been playing Raven's Watch with my friend. That's a really fun co-op roguelike game. That one's fun. Got back into Path of Exile 2 a little bit. What else? Yeah, I don't know. The AAA games are too expensive too. Like, I don't have $70 to throw around on freaking video games. Come on. Anyway, SM64 is just one of those games that is on my eternally revered list, but I acknowledge it's bad. Well, you know, I think older games get a certain amount of leeway. Yeah, maybe I should play it someday. I don't know. Hey friend, how you doing? I'm doing well, Arion. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Soon to be 100 as well, yeah. Yes, indeed. It's okay. I'll save my money. I have enough video games. I have enough games. Also, some of the best games are free to play anyway. Like, I played, the game I've played the most in my entire life is probably League of Legends. Not to say I didn't spend money on it, but like, you know, I think if you added up all the game time that I've played on every single other game, it probably would not exceed the amount of time that I played League of Legends. I wish I had actual exact stats for League of Legends, but although, well, that might not be, well, let's see. When I was younger, when Modern Warfare 2 came out, I put something ridiculous like 30 days of in-game time into that, so maybe that's a close contender. Call of Duty, yeah, that was a huge phenomenon. When Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out on the PS3, my goodness, those were the days. That's when AAA gaming was good, you know. Have you seen or played any content on Schedule 1? Yeah, I did. I played a little bit of Schedule 1. I got to the point in the game in Schedule 1 where it's like kind of just doing the same thing over and over again, and I was like, okay, I kind of get the point. I was trying to grind to save up to buy the firearms, but I didn't get to that point and probably won't. Elden Ring is a good one too. I've been playing Elden Ring a little bit. Say Switch 2 games will be $80 and $90. Sad because right now Masters are paying more for deluxe editions. Yeah. Here in Brazil, it's going to be worse. Oof. So when I complain, I get called poor and stupid. Yeah, I mean, $80 for a game. I mean, it's just like, that's ridiculous, you know? Like, you can go on Steam and find a game that will give you 100 hours of enjoyment for like 20 bucks. You know? Free to play, not that I didn't spend money, really sums up the LoL experience. Yeah. For a free to play game, I probably spent more on it than any other game ever. Yeah, I honestly didn't spend that much for how much time. I think I only spent like $600 over a period of 5 years or something. So it's not terrible, you know, but what does that end up being like? I don't know. Math. That's not, yeah, whatever. I don't know. That there's a website that show your LoL game time. Oh yeah. 90 for physical. $80 for mid at best. It's insane. We're being forced to pay more for lower quality and less content. Well, you're not being forced to pay it. You don't have to spend your money. Anyway, what are we doing here? So yeah, so the problem here is that I want this enchant, this poison enchant, to modify all poison on the board. I want it to increase the poison applied for everything, for every card that applies poison. And you know what? I wonder if I should just rework how I'm designing the ability from a design perspective. Like, no, I think I'll keep it the way it is. So the problem here being that right now it's just the card that's executing ultimately this poison ability is what the enchantments are being applied. So that means that if I have a different card that doesn't have this enchantment, the poison damage is not going to be changed. So I need some way of, for every card that's on the board, to know that there's a card with this enchantment so that the poison damage can be modified here. Now, I do think that this is correct. It's just that in this modify status, I think what I need to do is I need to check for all of the cards on the board. Now the problem is that could be a relatively, well, I don't know if I should even worry about it. Do I want to iterate over all the cards on the board and then iterate over all of their abilities to see if there's a poison? Another option is I'm almost wondering if I should handle this differently. Ceremonial dagger, adjacent scaled poison. I could make it effectively the same, which would be easier technically, which would be to just apply poison equal to the number of cards that apply poison on the board. But that's a little bit harder to describe to the player. But, like, there's no difference fundamentally between... I mean, I guess there's a slight difference, actually. But in terms of total damage output, if I said, oh, there are 3 cards on the board that all deal poison, and each time they execute, I'll add 1 damage to it. Or I'll just add 3 poison damage to this card with this enchant. That's not fundamentally different in terms of total damage output, but it is different in terms of the order of operations, right? Doing 3 poison all up front at once is different than 1 poison being individually added every time the cards execute. So it actually is somewhat of a gameplay difference, which I think I want. Because if I just say, you know, well, just add 3 poison damage if there's 3 cards on the board, that's no different really than what my ceremonial dagger is doing, which is it's scaling its poison damage based on adjacent poison items. And so I don't want to make it basically the same as an ability. I want the enchant to do something that cards typically can't do. And so one of those things is buff the poison damage of everything that applies poison on the board, right? So I do think I want to keep that because that differentiates the enchantment enough from sort of other abilities. But now I have to figure out, I need to basically gather up all the enchantments on the board. I'm going to rename this Modify Global Status, just so that I'm indicating that this is not applying to the card itself, but it's applying globally. And this Modify Status here, what do I want to do? Holy moly, this is tough. I basically need to query the board, get all of the enchantments on the board that can modify the global status, and then pass through the status of any card that gets executed through this. I see. I kind of like the idea of passing that into the enhanced context. Execution state. I mean, there's a very straightforward way of doing this, which is just what I said. Query the board, get a list of all the enchantments, pass that then through. So let's do this. This is modify global status. I mean, this is not the most performant way of doing it, but it's probably a lightweight enough operation that I don't even need to worry about it here. So instead of, I can do execution context with state here. Then what I'd do is I'd say var all enchantments is equal to execution context dot source board inventory component dot get cards on board. I'm not going to do ordered by priority though. Public card stats get cards on board. Select many, select all the enchants here. For var enchantment in all enchantments. Enchant.modify global status. So that's basically what I would do here. And then in this poison here, pass in the execution context. So now the execution context contains the information about what the source board is. So the source board is the board that this card belongs to. So it's going to just, it's going to go through all the cards. It's going to merge all of their enchantments into a single list. And then every enchant that overrides this modify global status will be called. So it's kind of like, I mean, every time this gets called, I'm getting all the cards on the board, then I'm getting all of their enchants. But realistically, I mean, even if there's 10 cards on the board and they each have 10 enchants, that's only like 100. That's only 100 elements and 100 calls to this. That should still be basically instantaneous without the user really knowing much. I'm actually not sure. Is anyone knowledgeable about C#? Do you know that if there's an empty virtual method, if the compiler optimizes that and just doesn't call it? I would imagine the compiler would be able to determine when a virtual method has nothing in it and can just optimize it so it's not doing wasteful operations, but I don't know. I don't think it's something I need to worry about because realistically 10 cards each with 10 enchants is like not something that's going to happen, and even if it did, it would be basically instantaneous. So I just get nervous about like continually creating and iterating over lists of items when theoretically this information could be cached because the cards on the board and the enchantments can't change during the combat phase. So I could cache certain information at the beginning of a combat phase and then reference that. The problem is then I have to manage a bunch of cache state and make sure everything's getting reset and updated. It's just much easier at the moment that you call something to just collect the state in that moment, because then you're guaranteed that it's up to date. And I prefer to do that because then I don't have to do that management. So anyway, I don't know. I'm probably thinking too hard about this. But I think that this is going to fix it. So now, let me just do this. Logger.debug. Executing poison ability with previous magnitude. That. Logger.debug. Executing poison ability with new magnitude. Poison status dot get magnitude. How do I... What? Oh, can I just do stacks? What is going on? What are you doing? Goodbye. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will be $80 for their S2 editions. Oh, interesting. Gunforge is cheap. Get it? Yes, indeed. Gunforge is cheap. Nobody's actually forcing me in the same way LoL didn't force you to spend money. You could... what is it? You could... What is that? DLIE? I'm not sure what you mean there, Sanzo. Could DL lie in the description? I don't know what you're... Well, I don't know what you want to say there. Okay. Logger.debug. Okay. I meant lie. Oh. Okay. So let's see. So let's see if this is actually working now. Chat disappeared. Oh, did the whole thing disappear? Oh no. That might be a bug with that person that came in and spammed a bunch of stuff. I blocked them, and then it must be a bug with social stream. It cleared everything. Oops. Well, that's fine, I guess. That must be a bug with social stream. I don't know. How am I supposed to... How am I supposed to block people if that's going to break? Yeah. Oh well. Oh well, what are you going to do? Anyway, let's see if this works. So this should apply 2 poison still. And I've got my log file here. So that's working. Let's see if I can get a Viper here. Perfect. There's a Viper. I could make this easier on myself, but I don't want to. Okay, here we go. So the Viper should be 2 poison and then 3. Two, 3. Yep, 2, 3. Perfect. 2, 3. Did it not? I'm kind of concerned that I'm not seeing... Let's do this again. Two, 3, 2, 3. Oh, the combat's over. What in the world? Hold on. I gotta see if this is working. Download Internet Explorer, yeah. i.e. best browser. Is that log stuff in your shared GitHub tools? I checked out your node attribute helper, but don't remember the logger. I believe the logger is in there, yeah. It's not a very sophisticated logger. People have done way better logging implementations. It's super simple. It's just this logger.debug. It just adds a little debug tag here for easy filtering, and then it only runs if you're in a debug build. So it's really basic. It doesn't. If you use the logger error, it will print the stack trace along with an error message here. If you just do info, it just prints an info thing, and then debug, it just adds the debug tag. It's like, it's not, there's no timestamps or anything. It's just very, very basic. So I'm wondering why this isn't working. 3, 2... Oh, I closed my log. Oh, these are both the same. Okay, wait, I think... So this is going to be, yeah, 2 poison and 3. Okay, they're both the same, that's why. I think it would be more helpful if I... Well, let's do this, actually. Let's, Yeah, I think it's fine, actually. I should have probably logged the name of the card in there, but now I'm pretty confident that that's working, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay, so modify global status. So again, that's just collating all of the enchantments together and then calling modify global status. Okay, that should be fine, I think. Yeah. Fix, poison, enchant. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is put some way of the player seeing what enchantments are available in the UI. And then of course I need to also add the ability of the player to use the enchantment event where they can choose an enchant and put it on a card. So we'll see how much of that we get done in this stream here. I am going to have to stop for lunch at some point, but I think I'm making good progress. So I'm just going to keep going for a while longer here. And we'll see how that goes. So let's start with the UI. So I'm going to create a new file, 9x9. I'm going to create a little enchantment star here. That's not centered. Here we go. So create like a little enchantment star. Is that not centered either? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we're going to create a little enchantment star here. That's okay. I want to add a little bit of like a highlight in here. It's kind of hard to tell how this is going to look on a background. Honestly, I probably didn't even make this big enough either. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think I made this big enough. 1 second. Oops. Okay. Background. Yeah, the bottom is hard to see anyway. Okay. Let's make this extend to the edges here. That does not look good. Okay. That does not look good. Proceeds to make it look not good again. But I can probably do something like this. See, that makes it look better. Yeah. Do I want to make this even thicker though? I'll figure this out. Hold on. No, I like the way it was before. Okay. Can I get away with doing a brighter center? I don't think so. Although that doesn't look terrible. I wonder if I should use this color instead. So let me just duplicate this before I ruin that, because that's a pretty good icon, I think. But let me just, let me see if I can do this now. Why don't you use the new Godot feature that allows the game to run in editor? Just used to old Godot flow like Unity. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of problems with that in-game editor or in editor game that I don't like necessarily. One big reason is that I just want to be able to full screen it so that you guys can see the game easier. So that's honestly the big reason. But yeah, I don't know if I'm in love with the way that it gets embedded into the game window. Honestly, I don't really like this whole tab system here. I would much rather just keep the 2D scene open and then have a separate floating window with the game in it, but It's not to say it's bad, it's just, you know, now if the game opened in a new tab like this, like along the top here, that would probably be better, but I just don't like this whole UX of switching between these buttons here. Because like I gotta, run the game, switch over here, then I gotta go back and look at my scene, then back to the game, and it's like, that's fundamentally no different than having a floating window, which I could then put on the other monitor if I wanted to. So anyway, but that's just a personal preference, it's not, you know, it's not anything. Nothing against people who like it that way, you know. Yeah, I don't have enough. Oh, that looks kind of good, actually. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I could go even darker here. Yeah, that looks nice. I actually like that. Ooh, that looks even better. Yeah, I dig it. UI. We'll create a new... actually, where is the... Oh yeah, here we go. We'll just call that enchant indicator. We'll save that. Boom. This stream is fire. Thank you. Well, thank you, Sanzo. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to have the option, but it looks ugly and clunky. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my opinion too. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure they'll improve it because my understanding is like this is like a first iteration of that feature, but they're going to keep adding more stuff to it. So it's definitely possible that at some point I'll be using that primarily. Neozoid, welcome. Glad to have you here lurking again. Adam says, I like the sword icons much better now, by the way. Yeah, the combat icons. Yeah, I do too. I think I'll just stick with the stained glass sort of motif for any sort of like event selection stuff. And I'll just use different shapes of windows to differentiate when they're representing different things, you know? So I think I want the enchantments to... Yeah, I think what I want is a VBox container. Ability label placeholder. Oh, this literally doesn't do anything? Interesting. Okay. Enchantment container, let's duplicate this. Enchantment label placeholder. We're gonna add, so this needs to be actually a different thing, so. Come on, enchantment label, there you go. All right, so add a texture rect. Enchantment indicator. Perfect. Do I want this to expand? What's wrong here? Why is this working correctly and this one isn't? Anyway, this needs to be keep. I guess I should put expand there, but what happens when I... Okay. That's fine. Okay, so this would be like adds... Oh, you know what? This needs to be shrink end. What? These rich text labels are a little bit iffy. Do I have to turn auto wrap off? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Hold on a second. Is there like a minimum size on this? I don't know how this is working. Custom minimum size. None of these things have minimum sizes. How in the world is this one working then? I guess it's fill. As I add description, it goes on to the next line. So do I want this to be fill as well? And then align end? I can't put auto wrap on because then it just shrinks. And I don't want to do a minimum size either because... Oh, maybe I'll do a minimum size here, actually. Oh, that doesn't do anything. That's not right. Okay, well, it doesn't look like... So that the kind of conundrum that I'm in is I want this enchant icon here to represent an enchantment. But this label also needs to grow with the description. But ideally what it should do is it should break at a certain point either if the description gets too long. So I want something like this where like it just does a new line and it keeps that little enchant icon as like a bullet point. Because then when I duplicate it, I'll have multiple enchantments. And that's what it will kind of look like. But I don't know if there's a way to do that cleanly here. I may have to programmatically insert line breaks, but then I'd have to do like my own word wrapping and stuff, and that would suck. Auto wrap mode word. The other thing is I could add a custom minimum size here, but the problem is that puts too much space between that and the icon. So that's kind of the conundrum that's here. I wonder if I could do something with a... Let's see. I'm going to duplicate this. Can I use a vflow container? I'm getting lost. That is kind of a confusing description. I don't think there's a way for me to do this. That's kind of unfortunate. I'm just trying to figure out how I actually want to do this. Let me see. There's got to be a setting in here, maybe. Fit content. What does this do? Label's minimum size will be automatically updated to fit the content matching the behavior label. Yes. But why is it shrinking? I can turn off auto wrap, but then again, it doesn't wrap. I need it to wrap like after a specific size. I don't think I can do that. I don't think there's a way to do this. Seems like kind of a basic thing, right? Like grow to this size, expand to this size, and then after that wrap. I don't know how I'm supposed to achieve this layout otherwise. Okay, well. I think what I'll do is just turn off auto wrap. And hope that I can keep the descriptions down to one. Italics font. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to do this, huh? Is there like a, hold on, is there any kind of other... H split container? No, I don't want that. Text edit, code edit. Yeah, that's so odd. I might have to do some code here if I want to get the behavior that I want. So what I could do is I could turn auto wrap off, right? Until this exceeds a certain size, this enchantment label exceeds a certain size. When it exceeds that size, then what I can do is turn auto wrap on to Word and then give this a custom minimum size, like, you know, 120. Again, the problem though is that I'm going to end up with a space depending on the word that was wrapped. So that wouldn't even fix the problem. All right, well, let's just start with, I want to get this working, so. Just going to start with trying to keep the description short enough, and I didn't even know if that's going to be possible. Anyway, let's just save this scene. Scenes, UI, enchantment label in there. And this, we're going to load this as a unique name, and this is going to be called a placeholder. Going to want that as well. This doesn't need to be loaded as a placeholder anymore. Okay. Game.ui.card. Is that what I called it? Oh yeah, texture. Okay. Give me a text direct now. Boom. Oh, it's just text direct though. Okay, so I need a description in here. Public abstract string get description. Game utils dot. Hold on a second. Where is this? Description utils. Nope. Am I even using this anywhere? Oh, highlight keywords. Okay, so description utils, highlight keywords there. Okay, that should be pretty basic, I think. Cool. All right, so let's go into here now in this card inspector. Let's grab a reference to the enchantment container. Private container, enchantment container, node private instance placeholder, enchantment label placeholder. Right. Var enchantment and base card dot get enchantments. So I need to add that as well. Base card. Okay. Enchantment label placeholder create instance. Yes, yes, cool. And we'll do this first. Enchantment container dot visible. We'll set this to false here. And then we'll set it to true here. It's going to be set to true every iteration, but that's fine. I just want it to be false if there are no enchantments because it's adding extra space. So if it doesn't exist, you can see that there's extra space here from the VBox container. So if I hide that, then that makes everything uniform again. So I need this to be hidden if there are no enchantments. All right, let's see what happens. I think that's going to be good. Maybe. We'll see. What? Oh, I forgot to add descriptions. Return. Yeah, I guess just echo. Why not? Okay, so there's that. Poison enchant. Get description. All poison applied is increased by 1. Turn cooldown Cool, and then I can modify those with the actual configurations, but for now they're just hard-coded as 1. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got some errors here. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Oh, this is a ability label. All poison applied is increased by 1. Look at that. There's our little enchantment. We still have... Oh, can't add child. What? Oh, it doesn't... Yeah. AI. AI was trying to add the child again. All poison applied is increased by 1. Look at that. Let's just go ahead and add all the enchantments on the ceremonial dagger. I just want to see what this looks like. And we've got the highlight, the keyword highlighting as well, so that should also affect... Oh, I'm going to need to add it to the ability description stuff over here too. So this is going to be wild now. Oh, that poison status indicator is not being updated when poison gets applied either. So fix that. Oops. Okay, so I need those ability descriptions now to be able to go into... Let me commit what I have. Add enchantment indicator to card. I want everything except for the ceremonial dagger. Okay, so I want those ability descriptions. So if I go to my echo, this ability explanation, okay, so anywhere this ability explanation is used, here's what I'm going to do. Ace card ability explanation. I'm going to do this. New file ability explanation. Ability explanations.cs. Get rid of this here. Namespace game.data. Public static class ability explanations. I'm just going to put these over into a static class here. Public static read-only ability explanation echo is equal to that. Oops. Ability explanations.echo. So I'm just putting this into a static class so I can reuse this. Poison, I guess, yeah. Poison. I think there's damage now. I think this is the other one. Is this right? Oh, sweet. Or did I not copy all that? Hold on a second. Oops. Oh, it wants me to do this. Fine. Return ability explanations dot damage. Okay, so the reason I did all that because now I can go to my base enchant. This needs to be associated with a public virtual ability explanation get explanation. Return null. And then I need to override that in my echo here. And then same for poison. And then I need to modify my card description or card inspector here for this explained ability types here. We're going to add that there. Explained ability types dot add enchantment. Shouldn't this be hash set ability explanation? Enchantment dot get explanation. Okay. So yeah, so now I'm storing the ability explanations in a hash set. For enchantments, I'm grabbing an ability explanation, and then for abilities, I'm grabbing the ability explanation. And so this is basically just going to add that little echo description if the enchantment does echo as well, I think, hopefully. The type or namespace ability explanation. Oh, I forgot heal. Okay. AIs like my marriage just keep on adding childs. That's funny. Hello, Progyon. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I forgot paralysis, too. Okay, that should be good. Now I can just reference those whenever. Are you kidding me? Come on. Oh, and I forgot. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had so many explanations in the game already. I did not realize I had this many explanations in the game. This is the other nice thing about C# is that you just get those compiler errors whenever you do a refactor, which is really nice. Why did that get added twice? Something's wrong here. Oh, I know what's wrong. card inspector this. Okay, that should work now. Boom. Okay, so now, even though the dagger doesn't have echo as one of its normal abilities, when echo appears in the echo enchant here, then it will provide that description. So that's the reason for that whole refactor, is that if a status is referenced in a enchantment, which is an addition to the card, I still want to display the little blurb of information on the right hand side. Prior to that refactor that I did, it was only the abilities down here in this section that would populate this, but now I have both populating that. So now the goal is that anytime a keyword is highlighted here, like poison is green or echo is blue, that highlighting indicates that that's an ability that has a description. So yeah, that's the reason. I should make sure that damage still works. Yeah, physical damage reduces the remaining turn cooldown. Yeah, restores health. Cool. Alrighty, so let's go to my ceremonial dagger then. Remove all these enchants. Okay, refactor ability explanations. Hello, the Red Velvet, welcome back. Okay, well, unfortunately, that's going to be it for the stream today, though. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Got a lot of cool stuff done. The enchantment system is working pretty well, I think. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, once again, if you'd like to support my work, please check out Gunforged on Steam. It's a 2D roguelite shooter. I think you'll enjoy it. It's 30% off for the next 45 minutes or so. So definitely check it out if you want to financially support me. And if you do end up playing the game, consider leaving a review. That would help me a lot. Also, I have my Udemy courses available for sale. Those are linked in the description below. That's a great way of financially supporting me as well. And otherwise, you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos, all that good stuff. I very much appreciate any and all support. And yeah, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, bye-bye, everyone.